What's crackin', fanbase, and welcome to a new episode of YHAD, your honest anime disc-corruptions, the currently best ongoing series throughout the 3 Lost Pause YouTube channels.
Mine being the third.
But let's not dwell on that, because today we have an important subject. I asked you guys on Twitter to reply to me with overpowered, useless attacks in Bleach. I meant to do this as a Nux Rants video a while ago, but I prefer the YHAD format, so I do have what to say, but I can now say it in a funnier way, interacting with the fanbase and the fanbase's splendor. So let's begin with first entry. I see, says Ichigo's useful XD Bankai against Iwa. Yeah, we'll never pronounce that guy's name correctly, and I'm glad you appreciate its overpoweredness and its usefulness, because as we know, this is Ichigo's true form. No, his last 8 true forms, none of those were actually his true forms. This is his true form. So of course it does nothing. What are we talking about? Mayank Sharma mentions the Gintama Bleach parody, and well, while I wouldn't say it's an overpowered attack by Gintama's standards, I would definitely say it was useful. It was incredibly useful. It was hilarious. It was the best part of Bleach. Guys, you should probably watch Gintama, since you probably didn't. It's not like I've ever recommended it before on this channel, right? Your boy Razzer always has something good to say. Aizen Shikai, yeah. Oh no, yeah, Aizen Shikai. Well, this is definitely the obvious one. Obvious by miles. This was the biggest ass pull in all of Bleach, where after they hyped Aizen up as one of the greatest villains of all time, they had no idea how to beat him, and they beat him in the stupidest way they possibly could. Not only did Aizen give the whole speech, well, Ichigo, I've trained you to the point that you can be the only one to fight me to test my power, and then Ichigo destroys his face. Yeah, that was, first of all, it was awesome. Second of all, it was stupid. And third of all, Aizen's Shikai is way more powerful than basically any other attack in the series, including Aizen's secret 4th true form. Yes, true forms are a thing in anime, in case you haven't noticed. The Aizen Shikai bit irritates me to my core. It made him incredibly OP against everyone, except he didn't use it against Ichigo, because Ichigo had to win. Not that it even made sense how he did win, even without the Shikai. Oh, that whole situation just grizzles me. In any case, for an actual serious video, and an actually good serious video, I will be linking to Spooky's top 10 Shikai video in the description. It's a very thought out analytical video. I basically agree with even the order, not just the entries. You should check it out and send him my regards in the comments. Next, we have Professor Beetleboy, who says YouTube demonetization, which is an after effect of the copyright strike. Well, I would say that demonetization is the Shikai and copyright strike is already the Bankai, with of course deleting the video being the true form and copy striking being in regard to PewDiePie. And you see, while I would say it's accurate as a useless overpowered attack, again, this is a matter of perspective. From YouTube's perspective, it's brilliant. I mean, why wouldn't they want to chase away all their creators and viewers and users and make YouTube a much worse platform for everybody? Of course, that's all according to their master plan, which cannot fail. Bree Moore says the filler arcs, and I don't know what you're going on about. Whoever disses the Karakura Town Super Heroes clearly does not understand taste. The only arc in all of anime that I liked better than the Karakura Town Superhero arc is probably the Ninja Ostrich from Naruto arc, which was basically perfection. I do not appreciate how the ostrich was nerfed for the rest of the series, and I am upset that the Karakura Town Superheroes didn't get a shot at Thanos. They would have kicked his ass. Philip H says Rangiku Matsumoto's Bazongas. And I don't know if you understood. I said useless overpowered attacks. That was extremely useful. It's why we lasted through the filler arcs. Shadow-sama says, I know this is off topic. Have you seen YHAD? There is no off topic. But how much storage and patience does Nux have to screenshot all of these tweets? Well, Brad3, feel free to make a snide remark on how it's the editor that does the hard work and Nux just does the honest. Dull Facecam says, Ichigo's motivation to get some puss, with 6 irrelevant emojis and an eggplant. This is completely hilarious because, as we know, the only reason why Ichigo, who I almost called Kirito right now, by the way, entered the Soul Society to save Rukia was to save Rukia. And the only reason why he entered Wakamuno to save Orihime was to save Orihime. And let's not forget that I've made this joke in a previous video, And while I know memes are the least copyrightable thing on the face of the planet, I will retain my dignity and take credit for that joke, which was explained, so it's not that funny. Okay, you could have the meme. Moving on. Master Shonen, you will soon see why that's his name, says, let me just clear my voice to get the Shonen master voice right.
Well, obviously, the Texas Smash, which Luffy performs with his Susanoo's Totsuka sword to protect Happy and Lucy against Jiren in the latest chapter of the Dark Continent arc.
Honestly, Master Shonen, this is funny because you're saying how Bleach ripped off a million different anime to make itself, and pardon me, I don't know what you're talking about. Bleach was totally original. Totally. Before Bleach, we had Dragon Ball, where Goku had many different forms. Luffy had many different forms. Naruto had many different forms. Bleach copies off none of that and gives every sword many different forms. Totally a different work of art, and I will definitely have to do one of my philosophical videos on why that is brilliant and also secretly original. Double X Double posts a wonderful meme of the Senbona. It's so wonderful, in fact, that I would love to break out in song. You have a sword? You have banana. Banana sword. All right, dead memes, moving on. King Duty says, Ichigo Dad's Detroit to smash 100%. And, well, while this is the most relatable scene in the entire anime, I would not say it's a useless, overpowered attack. It's later revealed that that is why Ichigo is such a good fighter. Ben McKenzie says, Boner Activator no Jutsu. As I've mentioned before with Rangiku, this is why we survived the filler arcs and the long recaps in the beginning of the episode, and the long next time in Dragon Ball Z at the end of each episode. But we were getting bored of Rangiku, so Espada number 3 had to show us the power of the underboob, or we could move on. Yaman says, the final Getsuka Twigo. Okay. While I do understand why you would say this, because he's definitely overpowered, and so far he's been kind of useless, you will later understand how he was manipulating everything behind the scenes in the entire shonen multiverse, and that's when he will be useful. So I would not agree to this point, just on stipulation that we do not know what his true plans are, and therefore we can't say. So far he's been extremely useful, we just don't know it yet. Praise the Twigo. Tyler Casey says, the final Getsuga Tensho, overpowered but didn't kill anything, and it took Ichigo's powers away. Well, to be frank, taking Ichigo's powers away is not what we call useless. You see, that allowed him to awaken his Fullbringer powers, and because there is this Fullbring species, we knew Ichigo just had to be a part of it. This was just his guide. As we know, Ichigo's every species, and we just have to figure out why later. And to combat this point in another fashion, as we know, every powerful attack in Bleach actually takes away the user's powers, only for him to get them back even stronger, as we've seen with Uryu versus King Tut and the Caterpillar baby. So I do understand your true point. Your true point is that the powers being taken away in itself is overpowered, since we know he'll come back stronger, and he did not come back stronger enough. So fair point, Tyler. Fair point. Moving on. The Harshest says Kampachi's eye patch. What? You wanted him to throw it at somebody? Would that make it useful? I disagree. Personally, I believe his eye patch was purely there to make him more of a badass, and it served that point well. Kampachi was definitely a badass thanks to his eye patch in part, so I gracefully disagree. Francesco says the Z-Splash. Yes, the most frightening attack in all of Bleach, yet it did nothing. I totally thought that's how they were going to get rid of Juhaba, but, you know, oh well. Guess instead they decided to roll with Fairy Tail no Jutsu, am I right? Mr. Vijaya, or Vihaya, and I'm sorry for butchering your name, says, Soy Phone Zombucto is broken. If you were hit with it twice in the same area, you're dead, but it was not used well. What do you mean not used well? Oh, you probably mean not used at all. Aside from giving dope-ass tattoos, this thing didn't do shiza in the entire story. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to tap the dude twice, and whenever they had someone captured that they wanted to kill that they couldn't kill because they were way too powerful to kill, well, dude, this is an auto KO, fam. Hello? Freaking overpowered. Completely useless. Moving on. Solrios says Chad's usefulness. Yo. Let's not make fun of Chad, okay? He is a total Chad by every definition of the word. Kraken Kublai says, hype! Well, at least somebody's happy I'm making this video. Orochimaru Uchiha says, Orihime's power to only eat donuts. While in itself, this seems like a plot hole that donuts can support her healthy metabolism, they are jelly-filled donuts, and as we know, nothing can beat a jelly-filled donut. Yeah, I had to make a jelly-filled donut joke. Now that I'm officially recognized as Lost Pause 3, you should check out Noble's reaction of one of our previous YHADs. Yahiaraki says Ichigo, whose Shikai is called the protagonist, which allows him to win most battles, and his Bankai is plot armor, and of course his true Bankai is beginner's luck. I'm proud you have all three forms there. However, you clearly did not read the instructions. I said useless overpowered attacks, not overpowered attacks that literally did everything in the entire show. Because as we know, every fight Ichigo won was because he's the protagonist using plot armor, and it was the first time using that attack, so he also had beginner's rook. So therefore, sorry fam, great profile picture, but unfortunately, inappropriate entry. Zakaria Mohammed says, Orihime's boobs. So before we move on, let me just clarify this for a second, because maybe I was the only one that noticed this, but 3/4 of all the conversations between the high school students that weren't Ichigo's main posse, they were all talking about Orihime's boobs. Hello? That was like 3/4, and as we know, the classroom scenes were the pinnacle of Bleach and easily one of my favorite parts of the entire anime. And I'm not even being sarcastic this time. Really, I love those classroom scenes. Other anime should take notes. They were hilarious. Boku no Hero, your classroom scenes suck. In all honesty, Bleach has the best classroom scenes. They were all talking about Orihime's boobs. Overpowered, done right, not useless in the slightest. Especially because, as I've mentioned before, that's why Ichigo entered the Wako Mundo arc. Remember? Moving on. The retweet guy, I wonder what he does on his Twitter page, says the Zombucto of Nux, called sarcasm, with its ultimate attack being YHAD. AnyTube's favorite show, by the way. That is very, very, very powerful, but still doesn't do shit because of demonetization. You know, while I was reading that tweet the whole time, I'm like, how is this overpowered but useless? This is overpowered done right by magnitudes. And then the demonetization thing happened. So fam, let me tell you something about progressive narratives. As we know, as the series goes on, we always have to be looking into the future. That was one of the issues with Bleach because it built itself up in the beginning extremely well, with the Soul Society arc being one of the greatest shonen arcs of all time, but slowly deteriorated because the same tropes were being overused again and again, just using that Soul Society arc formula since it was so great, and eventually it fell to ruin because of all too predictable flaws. While demonetization has not nullified YHAD and the sarcasm prowess of Nux thus far, I do foresee YouTube eventually falling into the Bleach issue, where it'll slowly but surely keep drinking bleach until it dies. And when that happens, the Zombucto of Nux truly will be useless, despite how overpowered it once was. That was way too deep. The 97th first comment says, if I say Set the Programmer, will I make it into the video? No, you will not make it into the video. We no longer make fun of Set the Programmer on this channel. He is a swell dude. Nah, but really, I'm kidding. He's cool. We just don't talk about that anymore since the rise of One Punch Man. Next, Toff says, I've never seen Bleach, but I assume there's at least one fire attack in the series, and as we know, all anime fire is useless. Another one of the gems of the Nux Taku meme YouTube channel. Yes, where I was making fun of fire attacks, mostly in Naruto, and I stretched out to the rest of anime aside from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is a bit of an exception, because as we know, it's based on science. So as we know science, fire burns, so fire in Fullmetal Alchemist burns. However, in every other anime, being that science is secondary to plot, fire never burns anything, except for Asuma, who burns himself. But wow, well, that's pretty impressive. But when I saw this, I rethought everything, because wait, Yamamoto has the strongest Bankai in Bleach. Don't take that too literally, I said it for emphasis. And it's a fire Bankai. It incinerates everything in the vicinity. It rises the dead that it burnt to a crisp to fight on its behalf. It's amazing. And that's right, didn't actually do anything in the story. Self 5. This was an awesome meme. Can't believe it actually held true for this, but moving on. Jazz says Ichigo's main theme could be considered an overpowered attack. That was just a taste in case my sarcasm runs dry, and I'll have to start doing covers. You're welcome. Truly overpowered. Next comment is from Natsu Fired Up, who insults Tetsu Zaimon Iba, easily one of the greatest, most developed characters in all of Bleach, and saying how his Shikai is way too overpowered, and quite frankly, I agree. I don't know what you're talking about, useless. This Shikai is the living embodiment of a frying pan with a shish kebab skewer coming right from it to shish kebab what you fry. This is brilliant. This is incredible. How am I gonna market this? Phoenix Edgeworth says, teleporting behind you. Sorry, your name was Edgeworth. And I would have to say, you are totally correct. At first glance, he's completely wrong. Because as we know, teleporting behind someone in Bleach means they just inflicted 3 wounds, one across either shoulder and one across their chest, where they lose 14 times the amount of blood within their body, splurting out everywhere right after they slowly resheath their sword. Clearly overpowered, but as we know, no one in Bleach actually dies from sword slashes and blood loss. So again, useless, overpowered attack, done right. Congratulations, I applaud. 2 applauds! That was really good stuff. And finally, to end things off with my buddy Anime Uproar saying, I didn't end up finishing Bleach, but I always hear you bitching about the Zero Squad. So usually I make fun of Anime Uproar because it's just so much fun to do that. But since he actually got this one somehow from me, because of the power of Nux Taku's bitching, clearly an overpowered attack done right, let's talk Zero Squad. This squad was hyped crazy when it was first introduced in the manga. In fact, it was so OP, it didn't even come down to the realm of the rest of the Soul Society to help when, I don't know, massacres were happening and cities were being destroyed. That's how OP AF Lit Fam Squad they are, okay? These guys did nothing of value.
Oh no, they actually helped Ichigo.
Oh, please, Ichigo would have just gotten another form anyway. The point here is Big Beard Paintbrush Guy, Shirafude Ichimonji, if I believe that's his name correctly. I didn't really pay attention during the last arc because it was shiz. Had the most OP Bankai of all time where he can erase anything from existence and control anything in existence. I don't want to go too deep into spoilers because a lot of people haven't read Bleach, and a new anime will come out, hopefully before I'm 50. And in that anime, we'll get to witness how awesome of a Bankai this is and how completely useless it ended up being. I could bitch for hours about the Zero Squad. But instead of doing that, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe. Link in the description to my Twitter where you can contribute to the next one, as well as in the comments. Even though I'll probably use Twitter more, we will be talking about amazing useless characters in Naruto. Sorry, it also seems I forgot to mention my Oru Bright merch, which is pretty awesome. Link also in the description. But the best way to contribute is Brad 3 roll intro. Leave your sarcasm in the links below. I'll meme your best ones in the next episode of YHAD. Please subscribe for Bleach Season 2. And also, in the last episode of YHAD, the subject was comparing the heroes from My Hero Academia to the heroes from the Avengers. Here's a clip. Captain America is Deku. Probably because Captain America is only strong because he injected himself in drugs, and Deku is only strong because he ate hair, which is definitely drugs, and became strong. I would still rather have Iron Man be teaching my students than send them to UA, which gets attacked by the League of Villains every 3 episodes.